Hello and welcome to Tech Talk, the Banker's video series on all things fintech. I'm Joy Macknight, Technology Editor at The Banker, and I'm here with André Casterman, Chief Marketing Officer at INTIX, a Belgium-based startup which helps financial institutions to access and analyze all types of financial messaging data. Thanks for joining us, André. So what problems was INTIX set up to solve?
Yeah, INTIX is focusing on making it easy for financial institutions and corporate treasuries to access all of the data they handle around financial transactions. So we see that often banks have increased their transaction volumes, have increased the number of innovations they join, and the number of financial flows and source systems within banks is increasing. That makes it more and more complex for bankers to access all of the data, and it's a pity because this data is a goldmine to understand how the business is evolving. So with INTIX, we make it possible for banks to access all of this data and perform all of the monitoring and analytics required to follow up the business.
So what kind of solution is INTIX? Like, how does it work actually?
So INTIX provides a standard software solution, and with configuration, we make the software customized to the different implementations and requirements of banks and corporate treasuries. INTIX is composed of a series of modules that add intelligence on top of the data. So INTIX will connect to a series of legacy systems, any number of legacy systems within the bank, and make it possible for end users to access all of the data residing into those legacy systems. The processing can be about archiving, for long-term archiving. It can be about searching, like if you would Google your transactions, reporting for compliance reasons, as well as analytics, advanced analytics, possibly over time also on the predictive side, looking at performing some predictive algorithms on that information. So it's all about adding information on the information so that the business teams, the operational teams can get access to this goldmine and take the right decisions.
Okay, and sort of where are you seeing a lot of take-up, or what regions, or is it divided in that way, or is it just like a global offering?
It's definitely a global offering, and we definitely have customers around the world, different countries, on the various continents. However, we see that compliance has been the real game changer in this space. The regulators, and certainly with BCBS 239, which is one of the many regulatory requirements that banks had to face recently, regulators have made it clear that banks should get their data in order. With INTIX, instead of changing all of the legacy systems, they can get their data in order without impacting the current legacy systems. Over time, those will be changed, those will evolve. But as a first step, INTIX makes it possible to address these regulatory reporting requirements, regulatory other types of requirements in terms of ad hoc reporting and recurrent reporting and many other requirements that the regulators are pushing onto the banks. We make it possible to achieve this without impacting the legacy systems in place.
Okay. And as a fintech startup, sort of what were the lessons learned that you learned when dealing with the banks?
Yeah, when dealing with banks, we have learned the lesson that patience is key. Because often banks would recognize that the technology state-of-the-art addresses their requirements. However, they would think that fintech companies such as INTIX are too small to deal with. So that's basically an issue that banks more and more will have to address themselves. They need to be ready to be the early adopters. And of course, we have passed this milestone about 2 years ago with INTIX, where large banks have had the confidence to work with a smaller company such as INTIX, and have benefited from this in terms of being able to influence the product roadmap, being able to have more attention as early adopters. So patience is key, as well as focus. Focus on your product roadmap, your specialization, not being distracted by competition, by trends in the market that are making a lot of noise, but maybe not so important in the short term, certainly very relevant in the longer term. So focus on your product roadmap and specialization is definitely key. And that's what definitely we do at INTIX.
Okay, and INTIX is Belgium-based. So why did you decide to be based in Belgium, and what kind of support is the country giving to the fintech community?
So Belgium, because the two co-founders are Belgian and have 30 years of experience in financial messaging technology. And basically also because Belgium is offers a great IT talent pool. You can think about MasterCard, Euroclear, Swift, Clear2Pay, have all roots in Belgium. And also, definitely, we should recognize the contribution of the Belgian Flemish government, which offered also to different startups such as INTIX a subsidy, an innovation subsidy, which helped to focus on the R&D period, 2 years of R&D, and making sure that we could hire the initial people. That was about 5-6 years ago.
Okay. All right, great. Thanks so much for coming in, André.
Okay.